Hey everyone, welcome to the show. So I want to do a show about this whole redistricting hoopla, all the stuff that's been going on in various states because more and more Republican-led states are announcing or have already said, "Oh, we're going to redraw our voting districts. We're going to redistrict to try to rig the midterm elections against Democrats." Now, I know you guys have all heard about Texas, but that is just a drop in the bucket. Texas is saying, oh, we're going to try to redraw the boundaries to pick up 5 seats in the midterms. They're likely to succeed, okay? As a part of that shady scheme or the outcome of that shady scheme, they are likely to succeed. However, what a lot of people don't realize is there are 8 other red states that are doing the same thing. So that's why California has to push through Prop 50. This is why it is a must. This is not about stealing anything. This is not about playing dirty. This is about leveling the playing field and fighting fire with fire. They expect us to still do the Michelle Obama thing. When they go low, we go high. Fuck that. No more. We're done. We're done. The majority of the Democratic Party has finally woken up and realized that gets us nowhere. We are allowing the bullies to keep punching us in the face, and we're just sitting back and taking it. What does that win? What does that do? This is why the Democrats' approval rating is in the dirt, because they have been wimps for so damn long. So I wanted to share this information with you guys because I, first of all, want you to understand what's going on in your state if you live in one of these places I'm going to tell you about. And I also want you to be able to have the knowledge to combat misinformation out there when you see it and when you hear it, because I am seeing and hearing a lot of it, especially on like neighborhood apps like Nextdoor. People are lying and saying that it's about voter ID. Prop 50 in California has 0 to do with voter ID. And just as all these other states, like so many people are, oh, well, they have to redistrict. No, they don't. There's a couple of them that did, that they were told by the courts they had to do this, but how they did it was up to them. So here's the deal. In mid-September, Missouri passed their redistricting plan because Trump was pressuring them. So I have a bunch of different news stories to show you guys. So as you see here, it says Missouri passed this. That move may allow the Republicans to pick up an extra seat in the midterms. And here's the thing. They already control 6 out of the existing 8 districts. So they will have almost 100% control in the state of Missouri. And a large number of the residents in Missouri are not Republican. I looked each of these up. So according to a group called Independent Voter Project, almost 34% of the registered voters in Missouri are Democrats. So more than 1/3. And then another 19.58 are unaffiliated voters. And we all know unaffiliated voters, otherwise known as independent voters, they tend to lean right or left, right? They may say, oh, I'm independent, but they're not like down the middle voters. They may see some benefits on the left and the right, but they have a bent. Okay, they are either going to vote for Republicans or they're going to vote for Democrats. It's very odd for them to just sit out an election. So there's that. And since Trump took office, most independent voters, as I've shown you guys in the polling, they've been siding with the Democrats. So anywhere between 1/3 to 1/2 of Missouri residents are going to have almost no representation in their state moving forward. And there's a similar situation going on in Indiana. So a few days ago, Indiana's Republican governor, a guy named Mike Braun, he called a special session for this same purpose. So take a look at this one. Their state legislature was very reluctant to do this. Well, Trump kept harassing them, kept pressuring them, and Braun caved. It's that simple. And again, Republicans make up only 30.94% of the registered voters in Indiana. So they make up less than a third of the voters. And just as with Missouri, they already hold 7 out of the existing 9 House seats in that state. To say that, oh, California, wow, they're taking away Republican votes, but okay, what about these? What about these red states? It's no different. And the Kansas State Senate also announced last week they now have enough Republican signatures to call a special session so that they can do this. So here is their article. Now, the Kansas State House, they also have to vote in favor of a special session. As of right now, they don't have enough committed votes. They are working on it, though, and they hold a very clear majority in their state house to get this done. So according to NPR, they need 84 signatures in order to call this special session. There are 88 Republicans in the state house. So they just need, they only have 4 Republican holdouts and they can't call it. But if those 4 flip, or, even a few of them, I mean, it's just so unfair. Okay. There's only 37 Democrats in that state house. So this is only a matter of time because we all know Trump is going to bully them. They're going to do it. And this state is even worse than the other 2 that I just mentioned because Republicans control 3 out of the 4 congressional districts. So if they further gerrymander their maps, they're going to have 100% control of their state. And registered Republicans make up 45.63% of the electorate. So more than the other states, but still not a majority. Utah, they are also trying to redraw their maps. I'm not sure why, because they already hold every seat. This state does have a Republican majority as far as voters go. And Republicans account for 51.5% of all registered voters in Utah. So at least they are the majority. But Republican lawmakers already hold, as I said, all 4 U.S. House seats in the state. So I don't know why they're pushing for even more control. It just makes no sense to me. But anyway, they might be trying to make Trump happy. But again, you have about half of the state that are not registered Republicans, and they're getting shafted. Ohio also announced last Friday that the Republican officials in their state agreed on a new map for their congressional districts. So here's that article. So if their voting history holds, if everybody votes as they have been, this is going to give the Republican Party 2 additional seats in the House of Representatives. They already control 10 out of the 15 districts. So they'll have 12 out of the 15. And this is a state where registered Democrats outnumber Republicans. I didn't even know that until I looked it up. I just assumed because Ohio keeps going red and keeps going for the Republican president that they had a majority. That is not the case. Registered Democrats in Ohio make up 31.07% of the electorate. Republicans make up only 30.72%. So it's close, but there are more Democrats. Independents in Ohio are the largest voting bloc. So they are 38.12% of the electorate. So it's clear the only reason that Republicans control so much of Ohio is because of the gerrymandering that they've already done. Now, let's move down to Louisiana. They've ordered their state lawmakers to keep their calendars open so that they can call a special session so that they can redraw and further gerrymander their maps. So Louisiana, this is a little bit different than most of the other states that I've mentioned. As I said earlier, some of these states had to redraw maps. So in this case, Louisiana already tried to rig the districts in 2022. They gerrymandered their maps and they put as many Black voters as they could into one district. So essentially, they're trying to silence Black voters in Louisiana. So a lawsuit was filed. It worked its way through the courts. It went before the Supreme Court on October 15th. And they're trying to force the state to, at least the people who filed the lawsuit, they're trying to get them to redraw the districts to add at least one additional district where the majority of the residents are Black. So giving them 2 Black districts instead of 1. Essentially, they're asking the Supreme Court to uphold the 1965 Voting Rights Act so that Black voters actually have a voice. Well, as we all know, the Supreme Court, which you guys know I call them SCROTUS because of how they are, it's filled with racist MAGA sycophants. And according to a local news outlet, that they had somebody there, they covered the Supreme Court hearing, they said it seems like the Supreme Court is going to allow them to violate the law. It seems like the Supreme Court is going to shoot down this lawsuit and let them continue with these racist maps that they drew in 2022. Well, Democratic voters are the majority in Louisiana. So just like in Ohio, but by even more. So 36.81% of registered Louisiana voters are Democrats. Only 35.38 are registered Republicans, and then 27.22% are independents. And yet, Democrats hold only 2 out of the 6 houses in the state Senate. So, or not the state Senate, excuse me, in the U.S. Senate, or the U.S. House, sorry. So you literally have, quote unquote, red states where Democrats are the majority, but because of gerrymandering, they have been shut out. And Democratic voters have no voice or have very little voice. Florida is also trying to get in on this redistricting action. The Florida State House Speaker announced that they will be setting up a special committee, and that special committee is going to redraw the U.S. House maps. The Republicans already control 20 out of 28 House seats, but they want more. And once again, their party is not the majority in Florida. So there are almost 15 million registered voters in Florida. Only 38.31% are Republicans, 31.55 are Democrats, and 27.18 are unaffiliated voters, independents, essentially. And the latest Republican-controlled state that announced that they're also gerrymandering their maps even more than they already have is North Carolina. So North Carolina State Senator Ralph Heiss, he has already redrawn the map, and he's not even trying to hide it. Like he's not trying to even pretend that this is for any reason other than stealing the midterms. So about a week ago, he told a legislative committee, quote, "Republicans hold a razor-thin margin in the United States House of Representatives. And if Democrats flip 4 seats in the upcoming midterm elections, they will take control of the House and torpedo President Trump's agenda." Yeah. So this new map may give the Republicans in North Carolina 1 additional seat, and they already, again, as with these other places, They already control 10 out of 14 districts. And as with the majority of these other states, the voters in North Carolina are not majority Republican. So they have over 7 million registered voters in North Carolina. Only 30.6% are Republicans, 30.71% are Democrats, and then not the majority, but a plurality are independents, 38%. So I don't want to hear a word from all of these crybabies who are out there whining that Republican voters, oh, we're not going to have any representation in California. Really? Unless you have something to say about the red states that are doing the same exact damn thing, your complaints about California are just hypocritical whining from a spoiled brat. That's what it sounds like to me. And if you are a principled Californian who's paying attention and understands how dangerous this fascist regime has become, you need to do your duty. You need to help and get out and vote tomorrow. Or at the very least, be sure to send in your mail-in ballot. And if you are a voter of color, I suggest that you mail it in. I suggest that today you get it in the mail. As long as it's postmarked by tomorrow's date, November 4th, it will be counted. And it looks like it's going to easily pass, but we can't take anything for granted, especially because Donald Trump is not only is he sending poll watchers to several areas in Southern California, but as we all know, his ICE Gestapo is out in force. They will undoubtedly be out and about trying to intimidate voters of color at voting locations. So anything you can do to avoid that, please do it. Just put it in the mail. Does not even need postage. You just throw it in there. So anyway, guys, that's where things stand. Like I said, please tell everybody about this so people understand what's going on, so they can make some noise in their own states or in your own states. Please like this video, share it so people know what's going on, subscribe if you have not. If you can donate, I truly appreciate it. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.